Williams, now to Allen. Mitchell twists on Levine and corks a three. Oh, it's Donovan Mitchell time.
14 and 0. 14 and 0. 14 and 0. 14 and 0. All right. 14 and 0. Get your kicks on the road. 66. All right. 14 and 0, y'all. All right, my friend.
Another W, 14 straight wins. The Cleveland Cavaliers are straight rolling, and they are no longer under the radar. Every opponent has been throwing their best punches every night, trying to be the first team to beat them. And on the national stage, guys on ESPN as well as inside the NBA just won't give this team their credit. I heard Kenny the Jet say that the Knicks were still better. Now, obviously, clearly they haven't watched this team play this year. They were just going off of last year's narrative. But could you imagine if the Lakers were 14-0 in this fashion? You literally wouldn't hear the end of it. The NBA is still severely underestimating this team. And I honestly don't think the league likes that the Cavs are this good again. I don't know why, but they just refuse to acknowledge this team is a real contender. But I guess we will see on Tuesday in what will be a showdown for the ages against the Boston Celtics in the second game of the in-season NBA Cup. At first, I hated on the idea of the in-season tournament, but it's starting to grow on me. I think it adds a new energy to the part of the season that most people don't watch besides the diehard fans, because the NFL is still right in the thick of things. But anyways, I have a lot to break down in this video. The Cavs and Bulls both ran each other out of the gym at times. The Cavs literally, after the first quarter, were on pace for 200 points. And the Cavs were playing at the Bulls' pace for the entire 48 minutes. Before we do begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so this really was a back and forth game. I was pretty impressed with the Bulls' outside shooting, especially Kobe White, because they just relentlessly chucked up shots, and when they got hot, they made it rain. They had the Cleveland defense on their heels the entire game, albeit they definitely are starting to show some signs of fatigue. It's not easy to play hard and win every single game, especially at this rate. But at the end of the day, the Cavs made enough adjustments. Kenny Atkinson once again pressed the right buttons, and Donovan Mitchell took over and put together an MVP performance to close things out. And Mitchell is going to be able to keep this up because he's not being overused. When I was looking at the MVP ladder that was posted today, Donovan wasn't on there and Tatum was because he's averaging 30 points. But then I looked at the minutes, and Spida is playing a full 5 minutes less per game on average. And that's a big credit to Kenny Atkinson and a big credit to the depth the Cavs have on the bench. And the crazy thing is that a reinforcement is coming in Max Strus, who started for pretty much all of last year. But yeah, I think Donovan should be over Tatum in the MVP race right now. Not everything is about stats. The Cavs are 14-0, but again, it doesn't matter because we are going to get to see the two go at it on Tuesday. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, are the best backcourt duo in the NBA, which is something last year I never thought I would say, but they are elite at closing games, and they kind of take turns. Mitchell will turn on the Jets and go on a scoring run, and then he will take a short break, and Garland will get the offense going with his floater and his ball distribution. And then Caris LeVert, man, I know Ty Jerome is really getting talked about a lot right now, but Caris LeVert really has transformed himself into the player that this team really needed. He's efficient, he's stepping it up on the defensive end. I think percentage-wise, he's now the best defender on the team, and he's knocking down those big momentum swinging shots. And we all know that when Caris LeVert is in a rhythm, he's about as good of a scorer as anyone in the league. But yeah, for him, if there's one word I can describe his improvement, it's consistency. The team is just having fun out there. The chemistry is off the charts, and nobody is playing for themselves. They are all willing to let somebody else shine on any given night. And that is what championship teams are made of. Like the fact that Evan Mobley was sick and Yang was able to just be plugged into the starting lineup shows the versatility 1 through 10 the rotation has. And George had, in my opinion, his best game of the season. It wasn't just about the fact that he was putting the ball in the hoop, but there were times where he was switched on to Vucevic and he held his ground. He is bringing a new intensity compared to last season. He's no longer a weak link on either side of the ball. It has just been big time. He has just been a big part, whether you like to admit it or not, of the Cavs' early season success. I never really thought the Cavs would lose this game. I felt like they had it in control. But again, you just really have to give a lot of credit to Kenny Atkinson because he just knows when to call timeouts. He knows when to show he's upset, and he also knows when to stay laid back and let the guys do their thing. I'm going to say it once again, I have no idea how this guy was just waiting around to be picked up this offseason. And you already know Nets fans are dying to get him back. He's a great coach, and I think he's the guy that is going to get this team where they want to go. And this run really has sparked an energy back into the arena that we haven't seen since the LeBron days. Like, even in the postgame show, people were chanting, they were waving their towels. People know this is history. And we just gotta enjoy every moment and not look ahead, as hard as it is not to. Anyways, getting back on track, let's talk more about Darius Garland, because I think it's safe to say that he's back on track to be an all-star once again. Last season, he lost all that weight due to his injury and not being able to eat, and it was just a brutal season. He was not himself, he was turning it over, but this year, he had his confidence back. He's clicking on all cylinders, he's attacking the paint, and that floater game, when it's on, really is unstoppable, because defenders get caught up in no man's land. He can either take the shot or give it to Allen inside. It almost never ends up in no points. I was really impressed in how the Cavs played with no Evan Mobley, because in terms of impact, he might really be a top 10 player in the league. Looking at the stats from this game, Donovan Mitchell played 34 minutes and he led the way with 37 big points, and he grabbed 7 rebounds and had 4 assists. But the big thing about him in this one is that he was 7 of 13 from behind the arc. He was on fire from start to finish. And then Darius Garland also played 34 minutes and he had 29 points along with 9 assists. He did turn the ball over 5 times, but he made up for it, being plus 18, which led the starting lineup in plus minus. And speaking of plus minus, Dean Wade led the way with 28 minutes off the bench. Again, his stat line really didn't stand out. He only had 5 points, he had 3 rebounds, and he also had 3 steals. Those were big, but he was plus 20. He was 1 for 5 from the field, but plus 20. That just shows his impact. The real star of the show off the bench was, of course, Karis LeVert. He had a big 22 points with 8 assists, and he was plus 18, and he was an ultra efficient 7 of 10 from the field. And then Jared Allen had another double-double. He was back to his normal self. He had 24 and 10 with 3 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. So he really padded the stat sheet all across. This was just an interesting game. It was so much fun to watch. Both teams were constantly throwing punches, but the Cavs got the better end of it. The Cavs are now 14-0. They stand alone at the top of the NBA standings, and they are really starting to separate themselves as the best team in the league, whether the media wants to say it or not. It doesn't matter. And I hope the Cavs go out there on Tuesday and dominate in Boston. That would be crazy. But yeah, that's really all I have to say for this video. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. Here's what some of the guys had to say in their post-game interviews.
Not just to start a season, overall streak. Okay. Why is this team able to do this?
I mean, it's everybody. It's a collective group effort. You know, we're finding ways to win in different scenarios, selflessly. You know, defensively, we had a rough start to the game, but cleaned it up. And I think for us, that's the biggest thing, just continuing to build our habits. And I always say it's great to learn through wins and losses, but, you know, like I'm really happy with how we're playing. Not so much that we're just getting victories, but how we're doing it on a night-to-night basis.
That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. And if you enjoyed it and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.